This is my mummy, Julia, and she is 80 years old, and I'm going to be asking her some questions about the Queen, Her Majesty the Queen, who has just passed, and we are in the period of mourning before the funeral takes place today week. So Mummy, how old were you when you first became aware of the Queen, and what are your earliest memories of her?
Well, I guess the coronation, was that in 1952?
53.
Or 53, I would have been 10 or 11. So, yeah, I remember that very well. We went to my grandmother's, who lived in Fulham, and my uncle had a television. We didn't at that time. We got a television the following year when I started doing television, but up until then my father wouldn't have one, so it was rubbish. But we sat in my Uncle Bill's sitting room, watched the coronation, and then I remember they did a tour the way they're doing it now, but you know, before the funeral, but they did one after the coronation, and they came along Abbey Road. And I remember walking up there with my mum and my sister. I don't think my dad was there, can't remember. And there weren't that many people, but then not that many people lived in St John's Wood. So it was just sort of a few local people had wandered up, and they came along Abbey Road and they waved and we waved, and that's my earliest, I suppose, recollection of the Queen in my life.
And what sort of role did the Queen play in your life and the life of your family, insofar as, did you visit Buckingham Palace? Did you watch the Queen's speech? How did Grandma and Grandpa, were they monarchists? Did they love the Queen? Were you?
My mother and my grandmother. I think my father possibly not so much. But my mother and my grandmother would have been monarchists, I guess. I don't know, specifically visiting Buckingham Palace, because I think you know that I went to school in Mayfair, so I passed Buckingham Palace all the time. I went to school just down the road, so it wasn't a sort of day trip out. I do remember my mother saying, I had older stepbrothers and sisters, and my brother, who was 14 years older than me, he was taken to see Buckingham Palace on a bus, and he was sick all the way there, and when he got there he said, "What did you bring me here for? That is such an ugly building."
Did you as a family on Christmas Day, when you were little, did you used to sit down and watch the Queen's speech?
I guess we watched the Queen's speech, but you know, it was quite casual. I don't think we were great, monarchists.
What qualities do you most admire in Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth?
I think she's amazing. I mean, Roxy, her dedication to duty, I would imagine. I mean, we have watched the programmes on and off over the last few days. I haven't been glued to the television, but some of the more important bits I've watched. And when you think of what she's done, I mean, it's just absolutely amazing that you could carry on doing that day in, day out, reading red boxes, talking to your Prime Minister once a week.